So the Kukri saga continues here on 411 Outdoors. I'm new to the Kukri. A couple of weeks back, I reviewed one from Warivo. The next week, I reviewed one from K-Bar. Well, we're going to be looking at the third Kukri in my collection today, and I really want to work hard to make this a different kind of review because this has been so talked about on YouTube, and it's so well known already. But you know I had to do it. We're going to be talking about the Condor Heavy Duty. Stick around. If this is your first time on the channel, I want to give you a warm welcome. If not, I want to say welcome back. The Condor Heavy Duty Kukri. There's so many videos on YouTube. This is such a popular Kukri. If I was on YouTube searching Kukris to look for, I would think this is the most popular. But what drew me to this? Well, what drew me to it is just its simple, good look. I just love the way it's designed. It's very simple. You know me. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But if you do know me, you know that I'm a simplistic type of guy with my designs. And I was drawn to the thickness and sturdiness of this as an actual rock solid working tool. And I'll tell you this as well, this will not be my last Kukri. I thought it was. I said in my K-Bar review that I was going to get one more. I decided to go to Kukri House and order one of theirs, one of the Nepal Kukris, as so many of you advised me to do. But I won't tell you which one I got, but I will tell you, man, I cannot wait for it to get here. But we got to talk about this one first. Every Kukri is a combat machine, but I wanted this one in the context of work. I've been in the market for a really good machete for a long time. I looked at the El Chete from Tops, and I looked at this, and I decided that I wanted this a little bit more. This sheath was also essential in attracting me to this particular Kukri. And that spine is down with the thickness. I was also drawn to the fact that this one was full tang. A lot of Kukris are not full tang, and I know that typically they're not, I think, for the most part. I know sometimes even a full tang handle can change the dynamic. I'm just kind of hung up on that, and I like how this was full tang. Also, this one doesn't have that pommel at the bottom of the handle. If you get the K-Tac version, it's got a flat surface you can use as a pommel, but this one does not have that. I'm a little shocked this didn't cost more than it did. And the reason why I say that is the connection that Condor has to television, reality TV, the show Alone in particular. Now, I know this model in particular is not the one that he used. I believe it was the K-Tac that he used. What I'm saying is that when something shows up on TV or in a movie, it usually drives the price of something way up, whether it's worth it or not. That's how it was with your Beck Tracker knives. That's how it was with all of your John Wick OTF knives. The fact that you can get the heavy duty version for 100 and the K-Tac for 150 is pretty awesome. Now let's talk about the pushback that I have seen this get. I read one YouTube comment where one person described this as the tourist Kukri knife and a sharpened crowbar at best. And I get it. Some people are not going to like any Kukri unless it comes from Nepal. I had this desire inside of me to get a Nepal Kukri, and that's why I went out and ordered one, but I can't take nothing away from this at all as a working tool. The power in the chop with this Kukri is just insane. I mean, you can feel it. You feel the power when you're working with this. I'm not going to make y'all watch me chop this whole tree down, but buddy, I could. This is just a stump that remains from something I had to take early on, but you just feel the power. That's the first thing you notice is the power in this swing. You can just see what all this thing does. And this is a super hard piece of wood, but you can see from that angle there what's going on. This video is not really about proving that this can work, because everybody knows it can. It does come very sharp, but this is a very thick blade, so it's not really like a delicate slicing object. It's not like the K-Bar was, at least. By no means. That thing would slice through everything like butter. This is a little bit of a different dynamic, but it's a chopping machine, that's for sure. The handle on this thing's pretty massive. Kind of smooth and slick, if you ask my honest opinion. I bought this to beat up. We buy so many precious, delicate blades, and we don't always want to beat them up. Some things are just admired or kept for a rainy day. I bought this to beat it up. Now, you're going to see me throw this, but there's no way I'm throwing this without wrapping this beautiful wooden handle. So I went and hockey taped the handle here because this hockey tape's not going to leave any residue when I'm ready to take it off. And folks, I'll be straight up with you. I wish the handle was black. I wish the handle was more like my micarta scales and they were black, because I think that looks better. This actually matches the sheath. So I think there was some missed opportunity giving this thing a brown handle. That's just my opinion. And that hockey tape gives me a better grip. I'm probably going to leave it on that handle. It's just easier to work with. The handle is the one thing about this that I'm not crazy about. The wooden handle is pretty, but the handle is slick, and I don't like the brown. I wish it was black. Let's give this thing some throw and torture test. I want something I can beat the daylights out of. You want to see how much a knife can take? Throw it. I'm not just talking about the handle either, friends. I'm talking about the blade itself. I've seen some knives survive a nuclear holocaust and then they get thrown and they're busted all to pieces. I want to make another point with regards to blade throwing, whether it's knife throwing, tomahawk throwing, whatever kind of throwing you do. You can chop as hard as you want. You can stab as hard as you want, but none of those things will ever hit as hard as a throw. And from experience, I'll say this, I can understand why some of you would never throw your knives. I can understand why some would never throw your blades, because it destroys them. It puts them through the paces like nothing else. Throw this like a boomerang. Obviously no dents or chips in the blade from throwing, and with some knives you already see chips by this point. I mostly use machetes for trail clearing. That's what I do. I don't go off into the woods and do a lot of heavy chopping, but if I knew I was going to have to, I'd like to have something like this for sure. Sometimes it's good to keep a saw. Sometimes a saw is the better tool. It just depends. But like stuff like this on a trail, man, I'm talking all day long, man. Look at that. Boom. You know, you had to whack the tree down. It just makes this kind of stuff like super easy, like quick work of it. Sometimes you might just need to use the back of the spine as a blunt force object. And with that thick spine makes batoning and splitting just all the more easy. You can do it all day without worrying about busting up your spine. You also get a good sharp spine for striking a ferro rod if you want to. All right, we got to talk a little bit about combat. You didn't think I was going to leave this out altogether, did you? Never. Now, you hold the end of this, obviously. This is a big kukri. You're going to have a slow swing. But if you want to speed things up, let your thumb rest here, because by choking up on it just a little bit, you can increase the speed of that swing. The Kukri in battle is all about the swing. It's all about chopping things off. I saw a video where they were interviewing one of the drill sergeants for the Gurkhas in Nepal. And when they do their Kukri training, when they make their slashing motions, they are trained to make decapitating motions. That's why you'll see them often going for those big definitive swings in training. Most of the video footage of the Gurkhas in training that you'll see out there does not consist of a lot of flashy stuff, but a lot of very clear-cut swings and strikes. In many cases, you'll see them starting off leaning on this leg and doing a cross draw and then coming into a slice. You'll see defensive moves like this, two-handed strikes. And ultimately, what they're training for are decapitations. The Condor Heavy Duty lives up to its name. It's just a heavy-duty piece of hardware. Do protect your handle if you're going to get out and sling it around like I do and throw it all over the place. The knife, the steel can take it. The handle will not be able to take it. You will bust the handle clean off of this if you're throwing and missing. I just wanted to give you that news in advance. I know I said this was going to be the last Kukri review for a while, and you know it may be, because I don't know how long it will take Kukri House to send me the one that I ordered, but the one that I ordered from them is by far my favorite. Hands down, it's a monster, even though it's compact. But be on the lookout for that. But this will conclude our series until that one arrives. We have gear that we admire, and then we have gear that we want to get out and beat to death. And that's why I got this. And that's what this review was all about. A lot of people already know about this kukri. There's nothing new under the sun concerning this piece, but it's new to me and I'm really digging it. Do you have this kukri, and what are your thoughts on it? Any tips, any tricks, any things you like to share? I'd love to hear from you. Take care.